Hello everyone, I'm the incoming chair for the Emerging Technology Caucus. Name is Shane Sparagowski. I'm here with William Porter with Team Rubicon, and he's going to talk about turning information into action on NGO operations. So I'm going to turn it over to him. William, stage is yours.
All right, good afternoon everybody. My name is William Porter and I lead operational planning for Team Rubicon. So I appreciate the Emerging Technology Caucus giving me the platform today. We'll talk about how we integrate technology into our operations. So first off, a little bit about Team Rubicon. We are a national nonprofit made up of military veterans and first responders. We provide that core training to people who still want to serve after taking off the uniform. You can see by the stats on our slide, we deployed 61 times last year through major disasters all throughout the world. So we are not just a domestic response organization, but we also deploy internationally. This year so far, we've deployed to 79 disasters all across the world. So here's some of our capabilities. We do damage assessments, impact and needs assessments internationally, and then we do debris removal and things like direct assistance to survivors. But we also have the ability to flex. As an example, during Hurricane Harvey, when we identified that there were 4 hours worth of 911 calls not being answered, we actually went out and bought boats and created swift water rescue teams. So we have the... Is that better? Yeah. All right. We actually are very flexible, and we're using our military veterans and first responders. We have the ability to flex to meet the needs of the local community during a disaster. So not really much about that, but one of the other things I want to point out is that we are the first nonprofit in North America to be a World Health Organization emergency medical team. So we also have the capability to deploy a field hospital anywhere in the world within 24 hours. So let's talk about what we're here for today, which is how we integrate technology into operations. So I work at our National Operations Center, and the first thing we do is we provide early warning to all of our personnel. And we do that first and foremost by using barren weather services. So you can see here, this is a track of Hurricane Michael as it's coming on to, you guys are killing me, Hurricane Michael as it's coming on shore in Florida. We were obviously deep in the throes of Hurricane Florence during that time, but being able to understand where that disaster is going to occur helps us pre-position our resources. So first and foremost, obviously, we're seeing this, and we're starting to plan appropriately based on what we're seeing from barren weather. So then we start building our what is essentially a target package. We also have another partner called GXP, which is part of BAE Systems, and they provide us the ability to ingest digital globe satellite imagery data. So we start integrating that catalog with pre-disaster imagery, and you can see here this is kind of what it looks like. So it's built on the cloud, it rides on an Amazon Web Services server, and we start populating that pre-disaster imagery from digital globe. Then we start overlaying other data, which includes other data layers like social vulnerability index, things like flood hazard data. And we start building a really clear picture of areas that are going to be of the most need. That's really how we target our teams and decide where we're going to respond when we're in the United States. And then we also couple that with our ability to quickly respond during a disaster. We put boots on the ground anywhere in the world within 24 hours. We empower our folks to basically find the greatest need on the ground. So they are armed with cell phones, with satellite technology. We use a platform called OnScene, which is provided by BAE, and that allows our recon teams to go out and take photos to really get the ground truth of what's occurring on the ground. And you can see this photo here. This is from Hurricane Harvey. We had understood that as our team was on the ground, that there was flooding going on that other areas and municipalities weren't actually mapping at that time. So us being able to funnel that back to our operations center and push it out to FEMA and push that out to the rest of the nonprofits that are observing the disaster allowed us to really understand the scope and scale of what a response could be. So we have all those data layers, we have everything that's readily accessible, we have pre-disaster imagery, and as the clouds clear, we have post-disaster imagery, and we have the folks on the ground taking photos. So we have a very clear sight picture of what's going on before we even put a larger force on the ground, and usually within 24 to 48 hours after a disaster happens. And we push this information we push this information out to other NGOs because, again, the more attention that a disaster gets, the more assistance you can get from a nonprofit world. So we feel we're uniquely poised to give that. So we do collect that information and then push it out. And then we take all that, we provide analytical data. So what you see here is one of our Hurricane Michael products. So this is post-disaster imagery from NOAA, coupled with on-scene photos from our teams on the ground. So you can see some of the road blockages that occurred during Hurricane Michael. So this gets fed, for example, this got fed to the Bay County EOC in Florida, and this allowed them to understand not only that there's road blockages there, but it also allowed us to go in and cut because we do have road clearance teams, which is composed of sawyers, trained chainsaw operators, and heavy equipment to go in and quickly open up that line of communication and start helping get aid in. So that's one of the ways how we really apply that technology when we're responding. But then we don't stop there. Using one of our partners from Palantir, which is a big data analysis company, we also do our work order management because one of our core missions is that direct assistance to survivors. So once that recon team is done looking around the area and identifying the areas with the most need, then they make contact with other first responders and finding out where the greatest need our greatest need is, because those data layers don't just show the whole story. So using Palantir, we start mapping out the areas where there is need, and most specifically those survivors that need assistance and what they need. So this is a map from Hurricane Sandy that shows how we mapped out areas where homes needed muck outs or they were destroyed, because we can do those FEMA damage assessments. And we've been doing this since 2012, so obviously before Esri was out, we were able to go out and do real-time damage assessments out in the disaster. Now this is what our response looks like today in North Carolina. Again, using Palantir, we're not only able to map out where there is requests for assistance, which is what you're seeing with the white blocks, but also where our forward operating bases are located. So you can see the ones that are in red are the ones that are active. The ones that are in green have been closed. So we have a tremendous amount of capability with over 90,000 volunteers nationwide, and we can impact a large area during a disaster. But this was one of our ways of mapping out where there was unmet needs or where there was gaps and seams that we could potentially go and help out that other organizations may not meet. So again, using that technology to really make that decision authority quickly and start helping survivors during disasters. And we have a couple of mobile command centers that we utilize to do this because connectivity is extremely important for us. So we have both cellular and satellite connectivity, so we can continue to do all these things. We are partnered with Goal Zero, so they provide a lot of our satellite or a lot of our solar technology. But that way we can stay connected to make these decisions and affect this disaster quickly. And that's kind of how Team Rubicon does it. We are a data-driven organization, and as said earlier, we are a nonprofit, so you cannot EMAC us, but if you ever want our assistance, just shoot me an email. And again, our commitment is we will be boots on the ground after a disaster anywhere in the world within 24 hours. Thanks, guys.